So let's see how notes relate to each other on the piano and the guitar when it comes to the chromatic scale and sharps and flats and octaves, which are 12 notes apart. On the far left, you see the C. And on the far right, you see the C again. Those are octaves. On the guitar, it would be played like this. C, C. And those are the octaves of C. And they're 12 frets apart. When you look at the keyboard, see how it goes like this? Those are the white keys. Now if you added the black keys, it would sound like this. And that would be a chromatic scale starting with C and ending with C. Now on the piano, if you think about it, where the black keys are located, and then there's two white keys that are by themselves with no black key. And then you look a little farther over, there's another set of white keys with no black key in between them, right? Those are B and C and E and F. And just like the guitar, they're not a whole step apart, they're a half step apart, right alongside of each other like neighbors. On the guitar, any note you play, if you play it 12 frets higher or 12 frets lower, is an octave. So an octave of G, 12 frets higher, is, oops, that's a little out of tune, but it's still G. There's C, 12 frets higher, C again. F, 12 frets higher, that's an F as well. Now let's start looking at how we can combine all these to make sense. If you're on the E string, say for instance, and you understand how the alphabet works, and you understand what string name you're on, you just count up from that. E, F, because you know that E and F are a half step apart. F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp. You get the point. It just keeps climbing up till it reaches another octave. And the same thing as if you were hitting a note up here. Let's say, I'm going to show you. You don't have to memorize this yet, but this is an A. Well, if I take this note and go down 12 frets, that is an A once again. And there's all different ways to reach octaves. And I'll explain that to you in a different lesson. So now that you understand the chromatic scale and you know the elephants and dogs got big ears, it's easy to figure out where any note on the guitar is just by going through the alphabet, knowing that B and C and E and F are a half step apart. Anything else is a whole step and becomes a sharp. Or if you're heading down, it can become a flat, right? So your fun work for this lesson, let's not even call it homework, is to remember elephants and dogs got big ears, E, A, D, G, B, E, and remember how the chromatic scale works. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, B and C are together, E and F are together, and sharps or flats, depending on which direction you're heading, fill in the extra spots. So if I asked you to play a C on the G string, think about it. Where would that be? Well, we know E, A, D, G, and we know G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. There it is. Just found that note real easy, right? And I bet you were following along. So take these two concepts home. The names of the strings and how the chromatic scale works. It's really important that you spend a few hours of your own just remembering this, challenging yourself on notes, seeing where they are before you move on. So let me just tell you this really quick. When you're learning guitar, there'll be some challenging things that you reach. There'll be little hills, and then you'll be on a plateau, and you'll be cruising for a while, and everything will be all great, and you'll be all groovy. And then you hit another hill. And when you hit these hills, you really need to spend some time. I'd love it if you would commit to me to playing a half an hour every day and practicing. Once you understand this, you can know your string names by heart, you know your fret names, you figure that out, then it's time to move on to the next lesson. This is going to be the most exciting journey of your life. Learning how to play guitar or just getting better if you're brushing up on it or starting in again after years. Stay with it, practice a little each day, and I'll see you in the next lesson.